Hello, my name is Roger Nelson. I'm the creator of the Ichiwah scientific manifestation device. Thank you for clicking on the link that brought you to this particular video. And in this video, I'd like to go over some of the history of how it is that Ichiwah came about, how it became a product. It all started really as a joke, and it had to do with getting a house sold. My wife had taken a job out in California. We were living in Colorado. We live here now too, but we'll get to that. And that meant we needed to sell the house in Colorado to complete the move out to California. She had started her job. The house here in Colorado was sitting on the market. It had been on the market for about 5 months. And one of the times when I was out visiting with my wife in California, we were sitting at a restaurant in Bakersfield and joked in a kind of desperate manner about the being California, let's put crystals and magnets on the listing agreement. It couldn't hurt, it might help. We've done everything else the realtor had asked us to do with very little success. And with winter approaching, I was really not looking forward to sitting with the house in Colorado while my wife was out at her job in California. So again, why not give it a shot? It couldn't hurt, it might help. So that was the beginning of an idea that wouldn't quite go away. So started going through hardware stores and craft stores and looking for little odds and ends of parts that could be maybe used somehow in putting together whatever it would be to hold a crystal and a magnets around a request to sell a house. Did that, actually put together a little device that suspended a crystal over a card that I wrote out to request the selling of a house. And 10 days later, we had an offer on the house. So 5 months, nothing, crystals and magnets, 10 days an offer, 5 weeks closing. So that got me to thinking that there might be a whole lot more to crystals and magnets than I ever thought, in that I never even gave it a lot of thought before. So I started doing some reading, and one book led to another book, and more, getting a better understanding of some of the aspects of the metaphysics side. I'm more from the science side, so that I was comfortable with. And so then I started reading some of the science things too that would help kind of connect the dots on how the metaphysical parts were kind of working. So, but the result of all of the reading, and I'm still reading, is a lot of symbolism that's built into the Ichiwah device. That's both on the metaphysical side and on the scientific side. So what happened is that that prototype kind of sat in on the table, on the shelf. Didn't really do much more with it. But then we decided we actually did not want to stay in California. We were going to move back to Colorado. And I had the prototype, but I didn't know if it was going to become a product or not. That hadn't seriously crossed my mind. And then after moving back to Colorado, I did have other products that I wanted to develop as a small business, and so I started attending workshops at the Small Business Development Center here in Fort Collins. And one of the times I was sitting next to a person who was from a web hosting company, and I thought, well, if Ichiwah was going to become a product, that I'd want to put it on the internet and just let it go that route. And so I arranged to meet with these people, and it turned out that they do the framework, the structure, the infrastructure part of a website, but they don't develop the content, nor do they do the graphics. So they introduced me to other people here in town who did have those skills to do those jobs. So all of a sudden it seemed like I was meeting all the right people who needed to be a part of the Ichiwah story in terms of turning it into a product. Through an inventors association, I met a design engineer who was able to do the CAD drawings for the parts, the plastic parts. Another person from the inventors association knew a company down in Denver that did boxes and box materials. And so it was just like all of a sudden it really was all the right people were showing up. And so I just started going along kind of for the ride and took advantage of each of the next opportunities that were coming up for me for the Ichiwah device. So following that along, it developed into a product. Box material is done in Denver, which isn't that far from here, in Fort Collins. The magnets come from another town called Castle Rock, also in Colorado. The plastic parts are from a company in Wisconsin, as well as the molds that were used to shoot the plastic. They were also done in Wisconsin. Trying to think what else. The device itself continues to surprise me, because as I did more and more reading, more and more little ideas came up that were incorporated as symbolic elements in the product itself, both from a scientific and a metaphysical perspective. But one of the things that most surprised me was the name itself, Ichiwah, which was a joke. My wife and I, again, when we're sitting in that restaurant in Bakersfield and joking about something that could work, maybe wouldn't hurt, that kind of thing. My background is programming, and in IT projects we always like to come up with acronyms for our project names. It just made it more interesting. So immediately when we were talking, it might hurt, it couldn't hurt, it might help, well, I started working on an acronym, and that first set of words didn't come up with a pronounceable acronym, but playing around just a little bit did come up with an acronym that worked, which is Ichiwah. It can't hurt, it will absolutely help. And because that sounded Japanese to me, I went through the font library on the computer and found a font that looked Japanese, stylish to me, and so I went with that font for the name. And then months later, my wife noticed, because I'm still new at the metaphysical things, chi, I'd heard of it, but I never gave it a lot of thought. But as I've shown here with the darkened letters, that chi was actually embedded in this joke of a name. And then even more surprising to me was later I found out that the word ichi is the Japanese word for one, and I was looking through a book catalog one time and ran across the title of a book that had something wa, and it said that wa was a Japanese word for harmony. So Ichiwah, even though it's not a word, it's just an acronym, could actually be a single state of harmony or a unified connection to the universe, if you wanted to look at it that way. So, and that's what Ichiwah does. It provides a focal point, a centering kind of physical object that you can use to get your mind focused on an intention you want to put out to the universe, to manifest something you want to draw into your life. And in that respect, Ichiwah has become a very effective tool to help with that. So that's kind of what I wanted to say with this video. There'll be other videos that talk about more of the symbolic elements that are built into the device and whatnot. So if you've subscribed to the email, thank you. If you haven't, please do so. And there's also a monthly newsletter that I'm putting together now and publishing that'll have different hints and tips on how to use the device. So thank you again for clicking to this video and for watching this video. Thank you.